Welcome to the first episode of Out of the Box Gaming. I am your host, Nick Picard, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Will Kinsey. How are you, Will?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Nick?
I'm good.
So we're going to talk a little bit about gaming today, but first, do you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Nick Picard, like I said before. Or you can call me by my gamer tag, Ace King King. Let's see, I enjoy gaming. I've been gaming for quite a while. Ever since I was, I don't know, maybe like 5 or something. First thing I remember ever playing was Tetris on the original Game Boy that my dad had.
Wow.
And yeah, like ever since then, I've just kind of enjoyed gaming like here and there. As I got older, I invested more time into it. And yeah, it's just a big part of my life now.
Heck yeah.
And Will, how about you tell the listeners about yourself?
Well, I'm Will, also known as Games Dean. And yeah, I've been gaming pretty much my whole life. First game I think I ever played was like Tekken 3 on the PlayStation 1 when I was like 2 or 3 years old. Didn't even know what I was doing, but my dad liked to play. So that was my first experience with gaming, and I've just kind of kept up with it through the years and branched out to card games, tabletop RPGs, everything. Um, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
All right. For you viewers, just let you know how Will and I met. We met in college. I think it was my second year in college, and I walked into a lobby, and he saw me because I had stripes in my beard, and one of our mutual friends, Alex, I think he introduced us, and then we met each other, and we played Magic the Gathering with each other, and we played that a lot, and that's how we kind of grew our friendship, and we've just been friends since then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, let me kind of talk about the podcast. In this podcast, what we're going to talk about are all things game related, from video games to role playing games and everything in between. You'll find discussions on all types of games as well as strategy, and sometimes we may have special guests. If you consider yourself a gamer, this podcast is for you.
Exactly. We want to really share our love of games with you and, maybe even introduce you to something new. We've been looking into a lot of new stuff as we've been looking into starting this podcast and learned a lot of new things as well. But you'll find different topics every episode, and we also want to hear from you as well. So feel free to drop topic ideas and discussion questions. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, and to kick us off for the first podcast, our producer Lindsay is going to pose a trivia question for us. Our plan is to start each episode with a related trivia question. Will and I will be competing to see who gets more correct over the course of the podcast.
Hey guys, my name is Lindsay, and so for our first trivia question, I want to start you guys off a little easy.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to get the hard ones off quite yet, so I think this one will be pretty easy for you guys. So my question today is, the Kingdom Hearts video game series is a collaboration between Disney and what famous gaming company? Okay, so a collaboration between Disney and what famous gaming company? So you guys can think on that for just a little bit.
Yeah, she said it was easy. I feel like this one is pretty easy, but...
Is it? Okay, good.
Yeah, well, see, I only played a couple of the Kingdom Hearts games, and not very much. Like, I didn't even know there were handheld versions of Kingdom Hearts until I lived with Ethan. So I'm not too sure on this.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Anyways, if the audience, if you guys would like to think on that question, we'll bring Lindsay back at the end of the episode to hear our answers and tell us what the correct answer is. If you're watching live, feel free to comment with your answer, but remember, no cheating. So first, let's talk about, what we've been sort of playing lately. Nick, are there any games that you've been maybe focusing on or really enjoying?
Well, lately I've been playing a lot of Overwatch. I know at one point, like after the game first came out, played a lot of it, and then there was like a year or two where I just kind of didn't play, and then it was like a year ago where I got real back into it, and I've been wanting to get better and competitive and try to climb. So me, my wife, Lindsay, the producer, and some of our other friends, we've been playing Overwatch a lot lately. We did our placements not too long ago for this season. I don't even know what number season is. It's like 22 or something. And I am gold in support, and that's probably my main role. And then I'm in silver in tank and damage. Tank I'm not so great with. Damage I do enjoy playing.
Nice.
And then other than playing Overwatch, I mean some nights we'll play Fortnite because Lindsay really wants to play some Fortnite. We played a little Apex, but we haven't played in a little while. And then other than that, play League or Star Wars: The Old Republic with you, Will.
Oh yeah,
yeah. What
So
games have
Fortnite,
you? Okay.
we'll touch on that a little bit because our producer Lindsay actually is really good at Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
gotten several solo wins, and it's really funny to hear her shout it out in the middle of a game.
That is a bit of an overstatement.
Should you tell them about what happened after your first solo win?
Okay. So I Nick, what were you? Do you remember what you were playing?
I was
Was it Valorant?
I was in here. I was playing. Oh yeah, Valorant's another game
we
that
were
we've
playing
been playing.
Valorant.
Yeah, I think we were playing Valorant.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, because I don't play Valorant, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do some Fortnite. I'm gonna play some solos because we've been playing it since the game came out, and I had yet to get a solo win. I don't play solos all the time though. It's very rare, but any case, I did get my first solo win, and I was so excited. I came into the room that Nick was in. I was jumping up and down, probably yelling, with my hands in the air, and I didn't realize I was in the door frame, or the doorway, and I smacked my hand into the top of the door frame, and I, bent my thumbnail back, and it chipped it a little, and jammed my thumb a little bit.
Oh no.
So ever since then, I've tried to take it down with my celebrations.
Yeah, it was quite fun to watch.
I'm so glad my pain brings you comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Fortnite, we got a real pro gamer in the house, getting real good with Fortnite. So Overwatch, you guys have been really cracking down with the Overwatch. Who's your main support?
My main support is Moira.
Which means I never get to play.
Yeah. She wasn't one of the original characters that came out with the game. She was an addition later.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to play much with her. All I know is she has a heal and poison or something like that.
Yeah, so her main primary fire, I guess, if you want to call it that, is her heal, which is it looks kind of like a gas that kind of comes out of a contraption that she has on her wrist or hand. And it will heal the teammate kind of instantly, but also over time, because you can press the heal and then take it away, and it will do some healing for a few seconds after.
Oh, that's really nice.
and then her secondary fire is her like it's a damage beam. It's really dumb of how far her beam can go. Like I feel like it needs to be toned down a bit. Um, and then she has an ability where she can do she creates like an orb and send it out, and it would either be like a damage orb or a healing orb. Healing orb obviously is going to heal herself or her teammates if she throws it out, and the damage orb, it will go towards like enemies and it'll do damage to them if they're within like so many meters of it. And then she has it's like a wraith form. I think that's the proper naming for it.
I always call it her ghosty ghost.
Yeah, ghosty ghost form. It's like a quick, basically like teleportation type of movement. So whenever you activate it, you go. I don't know the set amount of meters that you can travel, but it's for like a little over 1 second maybe or whatever. But
you turn invisible.
Yeah, you turn invisible, and I think like invulnerable or whatever. You can get out of some like ults and stuff with it.
Sticky situation.
Yeah. And then her ult is like a combination of a damage and heal. So if you're like in the back line and you press the ult, anybody that's in front of you, like if it's say that you have like 2 teammates in front of you and then like 2 enemies in front of you, it's going to heal the teammates, but it's also going to damage the enemies. It's like a giant beam. Nice. It's like a giant Kamehameha wave that's like just kind of one that you can kind of control whenever you move your hands. So yeah, she's a lot of fun. Normally whenever I play, I'll end up with and as a support, it's really dumb. I'll end up with like the most damage, the most elims, the most healing, and like the most objective elims or whatever.
And then end up with play of the game.
And I'll end up with like play of the game, yeah. But I know recently they're doing some experimenting of, I think, like nerfing her a bit. Which I'm actually okay with it. I think one of the things was her damage orb. I think it's from like 5 meters to 4 meters of it connecting to a enemy target. Which, I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, because there'll be times where I'll be facing a aura and I'm like, I don't like this ball. Like orb should not be hitting me when I'm like this far away.
Yeah, 5 meters is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It just seems like them at Overwatch, they're nerfing all the characters I play, because before on damage I would play Mei a lot, and they nerfed her, but they nerfed like all characters with CC.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it where you're not like, stunned or something as long. Because though we saw sometimes where you can just stack, or not really stack, like just chain the stuns. So say like, Ana puts you to sleep with her sleep dart. You wake up and then the McCree can flashbang you. And then a Mei can freeze you, and then Reinhardt can come in and ult, and then you're knocked down. So you're basically out of the fight for however many like seconds. And
Roadhog can hook you.
Yeah, Roadhog can hook you, and yeah, it's just I think they're just trying to die down on the CC. So
yeah, I used to combine stuff when I played Junkrat all the time. Like back when the game first came out, I was a Junkrat main.
Yeah, he's my other main in damage.
Yeah, that was just my bread and butter.
They
traps and his explosive.
They're actually buffing him a bit.
Really?
Or they're experimenting to buff him for a bit. I don't remember what all it is that they're buffing him, but I think it has something to do with throwing out his mine. I think Lindsay is looking it up real quick. But yeah,
the amount of insane like 200 IQ plays you can pull, or could have pulled back then with Junkrat, is just dumb geometry, like lobbing grenades into places that you should not be able to get kills. It was wonderful.
Yeah, so
it says his frag launcher projectiles maintain slightly more velocity on
Ricochet.
ricochet,
That's nice.
concussion, mine. Projectile speed increased from 20 to 25. Ricochet distance off of an enemy player's greatly reduced.
So, like,
Wow.
if you throw it
Jeez.
at them, it doesn't go as far, like, and bounces off of them, it doesn't go as far away.
I guess.
Is that what
It like drops at their feet, basically,
Yeah.
or
And
something
then
like that. That's
That's
great.
what I
Total
think.
mayhem bomb detonation time reduced from 1 second to 0.7 seconds, and bomb speed is increased
Yeah, spread.
bomb spread is increased by 50%, which I'm very okay with that, because there'll be times where I will play Junkrat and I'll activate that bomb, it'll be I'll put the bomb real close, what I think is close enough to somebody, and activate it, and I'm like, okay, that person didn't die. How did they not die?
Like his ult.
Yeah, his ult. Yeah. Yeah. Other than Mora, I mean, depending on the map, I may play Lucio just to try to get some environmental kills. And then damage. There's a new character, Echo. I've been playing her a lot. If I don't play her, play May or Junkrat. Yeah, those are my kind of go-tos.
Nice. Can you still do the infinite wall running with Lucio in some of the maps where you just go in the circles?
Oh yeah. I know on, was it Lijiang Tower? The center one that has when you leave, if you go to one side, it's over a bridge to get to. It's like a giant bell tower in the center. If you go, sometimes I'll go in there if we have the point, and if the enemy kind of goes in there, I'll be up on the wall above the windows that's on that bell tower, and just wall ride constantly around, and they can't take the point. And if they don't know I'm there, they won't be able to take the point. So, but yeah, we've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately.
That's fun.
But yeah, what have you been playing lately, Will?
Goodness. I've been really playing a lot of Star Wars stuff lately.
Yeah, I noticed you were on yesterday, and I about messaged you and was like, "Did you make another character?"
Yeah, I did actually. So for the audience, we're talking about Star Wars: The Old Republic, the old MMO. Well, I guess it's not super old, but it's what, 10, 11 years old?
It came out in 2011?
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
Okay,
I remember
not-
I remember I was in college, and it was over Christmas break, and when the game came out, and I remember going to pick up my copy first thing in the morning whenever the local GameStop opened, and then they said I was the first one in the area to actually pick up the copy, and I'm like, oh yes. And then I went home, installed it, and I remember, I think this could have been maybe the beta, but I remember there was one night this was during the beta. I was playing Skyrim, and I was waiting for the beta to download on my computer, and at one point I looked over and I saw that it finished downloading. I dropped the controller for Skyrim, and I never played Skyrim ever since then.
Wow.
So
really?
I've barely played Skyrim. I didn't get far, and I was just hooked on Star Wars, the Old Republic, for the longest time. But yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever will play Skyrim. I know a lot of people really
all
like
of the
it.
expansions and stuff are out, and if you get it on PC, there's all kinds of great mods and add-ons
stuff.
and
Yeah, maybe one day.
I've never done modded Skyrim, but I've seen some videos and it looks super fun.
Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe if it's on sale or something, I'll get it. But yeah, so you've been playing a lot of Star Wars, and you made another character.
Yeah. I made a sorcerer to go healer, because MMOs I always have to have a healer. That's my bread and butter. So went Sith, sorcerer, and going healer.
Okay.
Some that double XP that's going on currently, which by the way, if anyone wants to get into SWOTOR, the Old Republic, there is double XP going on currently, and you can level up characters super fast. Um, but yeah, it's just getting way over leveled for the planets before getting
Yeah.
out of them. It's so satisfying to be an incredibly powerful Sith Lord, just force lightning things. I killed another Sith Lord with a force choke last night, man. It was
Nice.
great. It was
Social
so satisfying.
distancing.
Yeah, social
Yes,
distancing.
social distancing. Exactly. He was trying to attack me with a lightsaber. I said, "No, 6 feet, sir." And yeah.
Yeah. I thought,
So
yeah.
I've been enjoying that a lot. It's a weird game because I don't know if it has as much support as it should. So there's weird, glitches and things that happen. But because it's so old, all you have to do is just hit enter and then like slash stuck or whatever. And there's always little commands to get you out of whatever craziness is happening. But I've been super enjoying that game. And then the other Star Wars game I've been playing is Galaxy of Heroes, which is the mobile game. But I don't know if I can recommend it. Like, it's a wonderful game if you're not looking to be competitive, because it is a pay to play game.
Uh,
Or not pay to play, but pay to win. So it's free to play,
oh.
but you can spend like $100, and there's actually this thing called the Hyperdrive bundle that just boosts you to level 85 and gives you a just crap ton of characters and ships. And I was like, that's not fun. I wanted to actually play through the game. So I've been doing that and building teams, and it's enjoyable. Um, but it is frustrating, like with most pay to win games, to come up against someone who clearly just spent a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember
so yeah,
coming
those
across
are.
that problem with like Clash of Clans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I stopped playing that. Like at one point, I was like, all right, this is nice. I have this, and then just people would just come in and just destroy everything. If I go and try to destroy people, they just
Yep.
have so much more stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this.
Yeah, when it gets to the point where your upgrades, you can only do like 2 upgrades on your village, and each of those upgrades takes like 3 real life days to do, or something like that. It was ridiculous. I got to a pretty high level in Clash of Clans and Boom Beach because for some reason I was a Supercell nerd. Um, oh yeah, because I didn't have like anything to game on, so all I could do was mobile gaming. But yeah, those get really crazy when you just hit that wall of you basically should just stop playing unless you're paying to play.
All right. Well, I guess for now, yep, that's what we've been playing. And I think we're
Pretty
gonna,
much.
move on to the next thing, which is what new is out there. So, with this, we'll basically just be talking about new games that may have been announced, or maybe a new update, patches to certain games that we play, or if there's like new characters to games that we play. Um, and we're just gonna, kind of give our thoughts on those games. So I know to start off, the other day they came out with a trailer for the new Paper Mario.
Yes. Oh my gosh, dude.
Um,
That
I,
looks incredible. And if you're watching live or even if you're watching at home, go ahead and like check that video out if you haven't seen it, because it's really impressive.
yeah, yeah, the game looks beautiful. I mean, I think I only played the one Paper Mario, and I think it was for GameCube. It was the Thousand Year Door. That was, from what I've been told, is like the best Paper Mario that's ever been made. People were saying the ones after that, like the battle system for it, it was just terrible. Um, I know one of my friends was saying that it was like you're given a like deck of cards, and it will like flip a card over, and it's like, oh, you can attack this turn, and then the next card is like you can only do this, and I'm like, well, I don't like that. It was, whenever he was explaining it, it was like one of the Kingdom Heart games, I think for like the DS. Um, it was like a card based like battle system thing, and whenever I heard that, I was like, oh, I don't like that at all. I hope that it's not that, because if it is that, I probably will not get that game. Because whenever I tried to play that Kingdom Hearts game, I was like, I do not like this at all. Like, I'm done. I'll just move on.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, make sure you're thinking about that trivia question.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gosh, I'm gonna embarrass myself with that trivia question. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Will, did you ever play any of the Paper Mario games?
So I didn't. I vaguely remember years ago playing a little bit of one, and it might have been the GameCube one. I think I probably played it on like maybe my ex's GameCube or something for like 5 minutes with her sister. I don't know. But I remember seeing Paper Mario on a TV at one point or another, but I've never owned one. So I don't really know how the whole system works, the combat system, anything like that. Although in the video for the Origami King, you do see, I think, Paper Mario jumping on top of origami Goombas and stuff like that. So I don't know how they're going to translate the whole 2D Mario with the 3D origami enemies. They may have some cool system in place for that as well. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more about it. It just kind of caught me by surprise. I know at one point they were talking about like a new Paper Mario along with like remastering or like remaking some of the older Mario games. Um, I think one of them is the Super Mario Sunshine, which
I was just about to say,
I would
Sunshine, they have to remake it.
I I remember playing it when I was younger, but I never actually beat it. But it's one that I really want to play again.
Yeah,
So
same thing. I never beat it. I played it a lot. I didn't have like a GameCube or many Nintendo systems. All I had was a like Game Boy growing up. But I would always go to Walmart or Kmart and play the demo of Mario Sunshine.
did you hurt your neck while doing
Just
that?
I did. Dude, I'm pretty sure I developed some sort of weird like lump in my neck from just staring up at those screens for hours at a time. Um, but yeah, man, I was obsessed with going to Kmart. I think it was specifically Kmart, because at the time Walmart had started like phasing out the GameCubes and going into the quote unquote better consoles, which whatever.
I
But
mean,
yeah, my
what was
mom would have to
better?
like call me up to the front over the PA system. They'd be like, "Hey, Will, your mom's looking for you up at the front." I'd be like, "Oh God."
I mean, at that point, if you just didn't want to be embarrassed, you could have just like, played it off. Like, you just kind of hear that just play for a few more seconds and just be like, all right, yeah, I
Oh,
think I'm
every
done.
kid did that. Every kid
It's
played
like,
it off for a little bit. Was like, "Yeah, they're waiting for me. It's cool. I'll beat this next little enemy.
well,
It's
no,
fine."
don't make it seem like that was your mom. Just be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of done. I want to go look around, and then walk up to the front.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's clever. I don't know if I was that clever of a kid. I was just like, "Oh man, I gotta go." Oh
Speaking of
goodness,
remasters, how about that
remaster.
Tony Hawk
Oh yeah, the
Pro
Tony.
Skater?
Oh
Yeah, that also got
yeah.
announced like this week. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I don't think I ever played the first one. I think it was the second one that I had for the first PlayStation. And
Yeah.
I remember there was just a certain level that I would just constantly keep going into and just playing it. I remember there was it was like two sides, or I think there was 3 areas. But I remember inside there was 2 sides of it, and you had to go like break through glass to get to the other side. And there was like
Yes.
it was like a plane or something that was kind of on there with a ramp over it, and you can go over the plane. And I think there was a third part of that level which would take you outside, but I don't remember if that is true, or if it is true how to actually get outside.
I'm not
But yeah,
entirely sure, but I
but
think I remember that exact map you were
yeah,
because
that was the one I
yeah,
always went to and just constantly would just do tricks and just see what all I could do and like see the score I could make and yeah.
I
Oh
think I
man.
played like I had one Tony Hawk game for like PlayStation 1, and then later on, I think they remade one of them or made a new one for PSP. But I don't really remember a whole lot of anything about the actual gameplay other than you're on a skateboard and you're doing cool tricks. But the soundtrack for the games
Oh
was
yes.
always like just choice.
Yeah,
It's always really good.
and I'm pretty sure I've heard them make the announcement that they're actually bringing back the original soundtrack, or at
What?
least a good amount of the songs from the soundtrack and having it in there. Which, yeah, I'm
That'd be so good.
yeah. Even like I don't even know if there was like a story or anything to the game. Um, I mean, it could probably just be one of those games where I would just pull up and chill, just sit down and chill, and it was kind of like if you ever played that game Steep that Ubisoft came out with like years ago, it was just a like for me a relaxing chill game where it's like I don't really feel like getting into a game or trying to focus. I just kind of want to do whatever. And it seems like it's one of those games where you could just go in, just chill, have a good time, and relax.
I think that was one of the only games where you didn't get angry or upset when you died.
Oh yeah.
Those are rare.
Um,
There
but yeah,
was the one for PSP. I remember it had a quote unquote storyline where I think you made your own skater and you met like all the famous skaters and stuff and they just had you do ridiculously dumb stuff. Like I don't
I
remember
mean,
who it was. There was this they had a character and I know he's a real life person, but he was in a wheelchair and he does awesome like wheelchair tricks. Like bravest man on earth doing like quadruple backflips on a half pipe in a wheelchair. And he's like
Dang.
the one of the best characters, playable characters in the game.
like,
Like he goes super fast
did
and like
they did
insane flips.
did they just like meeting those people? They just make you do crazy stuff, or did you have to like compete against them?
Sometimes you would have to compete against them, like you'd go up to this like famous skater and you'd be like, "Hey, let's hit this park and see like what you got." And you'd have to like get a better score or get higher air or do more 360s or whatever, or I guess a higher rotation. So like you're trying to get like 720s and stuff like that. I'm not a skater, so I don't know
Yeah,
the terminology.
yeah. I don't remember much stuff. I know when I was younger, like in middle school, I would skate some. I was never good. I couldn't really do any tricks. I think one time I did a kickflip, and that was probably the best trick I've ever done. So, I mean,
I've been over 6 feet tall since I was 12. I couldn't stand on a plank to save my life. My balance is terrible.
So, Will, you're telling me there are other famous skaters than Tony Hawk?
I think so. I think so. They may not be as famous.
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I
Right
remember.
now I can't think of any names, and I
I
feel
re-
terrible about that because I
well,
used to know names. I used to
I
know some names.
one of the when in middle school for Christmas, I got a custom made skateboard that I wanted, and it was a Bam Element. So I know Bam is a skater. He was
Is he
one.
though?
Well, I don't know if he was as good as like any of the like pros or whatever, but I mean he had a line and
Not he.
like in
Yeah,
boards. So
yeah. He
uh,
was. From everything I've seen, like he was really good, and then he started hanging out with the Jackass guys and doing the like Viva La Bam stuff,
yeah,
and just kind of got away from the skating side of things and got caught up in the celebrity side of things, which,
yeah,
very fair. Like, can't blame him. But
yeah.
daggone, man, that got
Um,
wild.
All right, I think I want to switch over to this next game that was announced
Oh,
like a couple weeks ago. It was the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Um,
yes.
yeah. So whenever rumors came out that there was going to be a Viking Assassin's Creed, I was like, all right, shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I am ready. I mean, it when I thought like heard it, it made me think of the game For Honor, and I would just play the
Yeah.
Vikings in that, and I was like, I really want to I want to play more of like a Viking character. I want to get like a story base.
Mhm.
So when I saw the trailer for it, and if you haven't seen the trailer, you need to go and watch it because
Yes.
it looks amazing. Um,
hmm
but I was just like, yes, I am so ready for this game. Um, I hope it's going to be great. I know, Ubisoft, they didn't bring out Assassin's Creed like this year, so they took so it was like it's going to be 2 years in between the previous one, but I didn't play the previous one, which was Odyssey. I played Origins. Origins was fun. I like that they changed some of the combat style from uh the ones before that. It was Syndicate and Unity or whatever. Yeah, I absolutely hated Unity, by the way. Um,
I think
it
that's
was
popular opinion.
just oh gosh, it was terrible. Um, but yeah, they changed the combat system with Origins, and I really enjoyed Origins. I mean, there was a lot to do, and then I think Odyssey was basically the same of how Origins was. But I'm wondering if they're going to change the combat system again with this one.
I mean, it's a completely like just from the cultural side of things, from going through the different cultures, and you kind of see the fighting system do that throughout the games. So this big change to going to Vikings and the way they kind of fight, like if you are playing, I'm assuming the main character, the ancestor that you're going back to is a Viking. But it could just be like in Viking times and in that kind of realm. Um, but it would be incredibly fun to have sort of like that callback to Connor where you have an axe and you kind of run around with an axe, but also be just a straight Viking.
Yeah.
And if they, I mean, obviously it's Vikings, so they might add ship stuff,
I think
but I
they
don't
are.
think they really did ship combat. They just used ships to siege places.
See,
But who knows,
I really like the ship combat from like Black Flag, which
Yeah.
is my all-time favorite Assassin's Creed. Um, I really enjoyed the ship combat in that. So if they have ship combat in this one, I would be down for that if it's done well.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to
I
be
feel like
like,
they have
like,
to.
oh, hey, hey, we're going next to a ship, shoot an arrow, or throw an axe. It's like, well, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like Vikings didn't really, I don't think they had like cannons or anything. That might have
No,
been.
but I mean, like, if you had a ship that was full of Vikings, and then you can, order them to like shoot the
Yeah,
arrows or
like
whatever.
flaming
Like,
arrows or
yeah,
something.
yeah, that would
That'd
be
be pretty
cool.
sweet.
And then board the ship, and then just wreck face on all of them.
Oh yeah. Like having a lot more of like a boarding party style
Yeah.
ship combat. That'd be really fun, actually. Um, Now I just gonna throw this out there, but they're always putting in the pieces of Eden that kind of fit sort of with the storyline. How likely do you think they are to put a Mjolnir piece of Eden in Valhalla?
I don't know. I mean, did they do it with the newer ones? Like, I don't remember whenever I played Origins, I don't remember the story that well because it was a couple years ago whenever I finished it. And I didn't play Odyssey, but
Gotcha.
I don't remember if they did it in those. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, do you think they're going to?
I think like they might. Um, they may completely skip the whole piece of Eden thing. But it would be super cool because it is Vikings and the Vikings revere their, Viking gods, and all of the Viking gods have like special weapons. Like that's kind of been their thing. Odin has his spear and he's also got his like ravens, so that could be like something. Thor has his hammer, Loki's got something, I don't know. But I think it would be really cool to have just an assassin walking around with Mjolnir and
Yeah.
just smashing face.
Yeah.
My one hope for this game is that I can throw an axe and it like split somebody like in between the eyes and just instantly dead. Like I think that was part of the trailer.
Throwing
like
axes.
there was a scene where a dude threw an
Yeah.
axe and it just hit him right between the eyes. Like
I mean,
that's my one hope.
like I did see something the other day where they said they are going to bring back where you can like insta kill somebody. But
that's good.
But that's probably will be with the assassin blade.
Yeah.
I mean, reality, you get an axe between the eyes.
I know.
You're probably not living long.
I know.
I mean, they should keep it to where, like, I don't know if they phased it out or when they did. I feel like they did. But it used to be you could come up to pretty much any character unless they were the Templars, like the really heavily armed Templars, and with any of your weapons and do an assassination with any of your weapons. Like, you could have your longsword out and, like, assassinate them with your longsword.
I think most of the time. Most of the time, I think I just use the hidden blade. I would just kind of walk up behind them and then just kind of walk on, and they would just fall.
Like, what happened?
But I always liked that spice of life,
Yeah.
Just being able to assassinate people in multiple different ways, from multiple different angles as well. And then in a couple of the games, they kind of shied away from that, and it wasn't as free reign in how you wanted to eliminate someone.
Yeah. There was something. Oh yeah. The other thing that I saw with Valhalla is they confirmed that the map, or I don't know if it was the map, it was just the game itself is going to be shorter than the last one, which the last one was Odyssey. Now I don't know how much shorter that will be, and I think Odyssey just never played it. I think it was just a very, very long time to actually beat, which, I mean, I'm okay with them shortening the game. Like, too long of a game, it's like you could kind of get burned out. I know some people, they would just, play like every day and all the hours. And yeah, so for Odyssey, it was about, I guess, to just complete the story, it was about 40 hours. And then
Wow.
And then all the extra stuff that's going to like tack on, probably like another 10 hours or something. So, I mean, I am okay with them shortening it to maybe like a 25-hour story. And then extra stuff, maybe it would add like maybe 5-10 hours. Because I mean, if you try to do everything in the newer Assassin's Creed games, it will take a long time. Because I tried to do as much as I could in Origins, and it was just taking forever. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna finish the story, do side quests that I think will be fun, and yeah, I'm kind of done with it, and then I'll be done.
I have a question for y'all. When you sit down to play a game like that's got the story, it's got the main mission side stuff, how do you play? Like, what is your ultimate goal? I know Nick's, I'll let him tell you, but I'm curious about how Will plays.
Well, no, I'm kind of curious on what you think I do. What is it that I do?
You go for 100% completion.
Okay,
side quest, everything.
I try to do that. I know I have Red Dead Redemption 2 over here. That I haven't played in a while,
So
like
long.
over a year, because I think I got burned out on it, and I was trying to do as much as I could, and I have not completed the story. I just got burned out. But yeah, a lot of games I'll try to do, like I'll do a couple story, and then like I'll get the side quests, and I try to do all those side quests, and then I go back to the story, and then do some of that, and then I get more side quests, and I try to do all those. I try to do at least all the side quests and the story. Um, just because, I kind of want to, like, unless it's a game that I really, really like and I want to do everything, like the Spider-Man game for PS4 that came out, I completed everything in that game just because it was just so much fun. And um and there was a good amount of things you had to go around and like collect. Now, some games I guess the Assassin's Creed, where there could be like collectibles you have to go and find. Yeah, I don't know if I could find all of them.
I don't know. Whenever we played Uncharted together, you were like, make sure you go find
go find the shiny. Go find the shiny.
Yeah, always find the shinies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So yeah, when I play a very story-driven single-player game, that's like a role-playing game like that, like Skyrim, Red Dead Redemption, any of those games, Assassin's Creed. My first playthrough, I just enjoy it. I don't look up anything. I just experience the game, go through the story. If there's, side quests that I start, I finish those. And if they take me off into a random tangent storyline, like a lot of times they do, I'll go and do that. So I just kind of experience the world. And then my second playthrough, I'll get a little bit more completionist, like, all right, I'm going to do all the side quests I can. And then usually it takes me until maybe my third playthrough to actually start being like, okay, where's all the shinies? Where's all the flags? Where's everything, to try to like 100% it. But yeah, my first playthrough on almost any of those games is just a cacophony of chaos. Um, for instance, the first time I played Skyrim, right? You know how you're supposed to come out of the cave and then go to Riften. Like that's the Skyrim thing.
Mm-hmm.
Although actually, you said you hadn't played Skyrim much, so
I mean, I played. I don't know where exactly I got to. I know I went through the beginning. I got to like that first town area. I know I've gotten up to like the top of that mountain where you get the scream or whatever. And yeah, like I played like some, but I had like I can't remember how big Skyrim is, but I would say maybe I did like 5% of it.
Okay.
Depending on how big the game is or whatever.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, so
and it's gotten so much bigger with the expansion.
Yeah, we'll stick with 5%.
But yeah, so my first time playing, and at Skyrim, you always go, you wake up on the cart, you go to Helgen, you go through the little tutorial cave, and then you come out the other side, go to Riften, and learn a little bit about blacksmithing and stuff. From that point, normally, you're supposed to go to Whiterun. Well, my very first playthrough, I talked to the merchant at Riften and asked him about magic or something, and he told me to go to Winterhold College. So I completely ignored the storyline and went straight to college. That was my experience with Skyrim. Was I came out the cave and then went to college. That was my storyline. Was okay, cool. I'm gonna go be a magician now. So I completely derailed myself there. But that's how I play. I'll find something. I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun, and then I go do it. I play it like an MMO rather than an actual single player RPG, and it's not how you're supposed to, but that's how I do it.
I mean, whatever works.
I mean, it was cool. Like, I went to Whiterun being able to do all kinds of awesome magic stuff. Like, I was the Archmage of Winterhold, going and getting my first dragon shout.
All right. So we're getting um close to time, so I think we're gonna go ahead and switch it over to the our next like segment.
It's very fair.
This one? Okay, so we're going to just talk a little bit on like the influence of games in today's culture. Um, so, Will, how do you think gaming has changed over the years?
It's harder than my trivia question.
So gaming, I mean, really, what's become acceptable in a game has really changed, I think. And that, like, obviously, I don't want to sound like, everyone's parents when they were a kid, but at some point that does have to kind of influence people. Um, like you see all kinds of like gruesome stuff in games. GTA has a lot of gruesome stuff. You have, what was it? The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
Two,
I want to
yeah,
say, with
that
the no
that
Russian mission.
airport mission, yeah,
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 like stuff like that,
like
and that, I mean, that was what, 8 to 10 years ago, but still.
yeah, I was in high school, but I remember like whenever you would start the game, it would ask
Yeah.
if you are okay with seeing like graphic scenes or whatever. And I was like, it's a shooting game. Yeah, sure. And then whenever I got to that, I was like, I didn't realize this is what it was talking about. I was
Yeah,
like
like that was.
I felt terrible, like just kind of like walking through and you're just hearing these innocent people just like getting shot and screaming and dying. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this. I
Yeah.
don't want to pick up the gun and shoot because I think it gives you the option to actually shoot people. And I was like, I'm not shooting them. I'm not going
Oh
to.
yeah, no, like you straight up, and I'm sure most people did just mow down people.
Yeah,
And I think my first time playing it, I was like, wait, what the crap?
yeah.
And I think I just tried to like shoot cops because I was like, all right, I'll just shoot cops. I'm not gonna shoot like people.
I was over there
But
trying to
still, like,
shoot the guys I was with.
like
Shoot the
Get
bad
that
away.
was
guys.
insanity. And they could have never gotten away with that, even maybe 5 years before that, like, but
Oh
10
yeah.
years and going back. But
I'm really surprised they actually got away with it then
yeah,
because that
I guess
was
because they had the disclosure at the beginning of, hey, something bad might happen. If you don't want to see it, you can skip it. We'll give you the option now.
yeah.
So that may be how they got around it. But one thing, so there's a series of games called Ultima. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Mm-mm.
Not super like incredibly well known, but they're an excellent RPG. And the creator, Richard Garriott, Lord British, um, decided to put into, I think it was Ultima 5. There's this part in a dungeon where you are working your way down to the bottom of this dungeon and you find this room full of cages, right? And the cages are full of children. And you have the option to release the children. So naturally, what do you do?
Yeah.
Release the
Release the
children.
children. The messed up thing is, apparently, these children, I don't know like why, but they attack the protagonist.
Hmm.
So you now are faced with an intense ethical moral dilemma in the middle of this dungeon. And that was like years before, like a long time ago. And there was a lot of blowback from that. And I think he like got in trouble, but he still put it in the game. But yeah, throughout the years, it's kind of like gotten more and more acceptable, where like someone can get super in trouble and maybe risking their career to put in something that they thought they should be able to because it is their art form. They are creating this thing and they should be able to do what they want, you know. But at the same time, like there's some gruesome stuff out there.
Yeah.
Well, so that was in 1988?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And up until that point, you know, no one had stuff like that. Like, I don't even think Doom was out at that point, was it? And Doom
Oh.
was like super controversial when it came out.
Yeah. And like nowadays, Doom is like Doom came out in '93.
Yeah,
But yeah, like nowadays, like you know the new Doom or whatever. Yeah, so many people look forward to it, and it's just you know
yeah.
just so gory and stuff, and
The glory
it's
kill system, you rip
yeah,
monsters' heads in half.
and it's
Like,
like
it's insanity.
yeah, and it's like nowadays people don't turn their head on that. I think the one of the times when we were playing something and our friend Alex was playing it and he was showing it and I was watching, I was like, oh man, this is very gruesome. Like
Yeah.
I don't like it didn't bother me that much because it wasn't like it was a human being that you're doing that to. But I mean, it was like a monster, demon, or whatever. But it was just like, very gory, and I was just like, I mean, I don't even know if I would enjoy this
Oh yeah.
of how
I
much
mean,
blood there is.
that's kind of how I felt about Gears of War. The very first time I played Gears of War, and I ran up to someone with a lancer and chainsawed them in half, and your screen gets covered in blood. I was like, oh my goodness, like that's very like gory. And
Yeah,
I was pretty young when that happened, and I turned out fine. But still,
but
like,
I guess the problem now is since these games are coming more and more common, and then there's um like people out there, or I guess parents that are letting their child play these games.
yeah,
And I know there's like some parents like they played the games when they were younger, and and they're like, yeah, they'll be fine. But I just feel like there are these the game ratings for for a reason. Um,
yeah,
but I know there'll be like kids in elementary school. They'll be playing like GTA. It's like I don't really think they should be playing that kind of game. They
right.
may play
Especially like GTA
Call of
5.
Duty. I mean Call of Duty. It I wouldn't say is fine for an elementary schooler like to be playing that. But at least that one's not as gory as like Doom.
Yeah, like
Um,
Call of Duty storyline strictly usually is pretty calm.
yeah,
Yes, even compared to some of the Battlefields, like Battlefield gets like really graphic. You got people being tortured, like it's rough.
yeah,
Call of Duty is pretty gentle, but then all of these games, right, become infinitely more influential to, kids, especially when they're online games.
yeah,
Because you've got like some pretty unsavory, toxic people out there
yeah.
saying cancerous things to kids. And like
And
kids
then
actually get targeted because they're kids, because they're quote unquote squeakers.
yeah, and
Um,
then the bad thing about it is, when these people get toxic against the kids and they're saying all this stuff, then these kids are hearing what they're saying, and then they think, oh, this is okay to say, and
yeah,
then they go out and they'll, you know, say that kind of like
yeah.
vocabulary
In the
language.
classroom.
Yeah. So
And I feel like that has a much bigger influence. Like multiplayer online games, in terms of not even the game itself, but the communities,
yeah,
are far more influential than any violence in a particular game, in my opinion. Because you have kids who now think it's acceptable to say these things because they hear people they view as adults online, swearing and, telling people to kill themselves and like just being terrible people online. So
Yeah.
these kids then think it's acceptable.
Yeah.
I think even when you take the gore out of it, like even when you take the blood out of it, like Fortnite,
Yeah,
there's not gore, there's not blood, but essentially you're still killing people.
Yeah,
and my second graders are playing it.
I was going to bring up
You have
Fortnite.
second graders playing Fortnite?
Oh yeah, we had
some skilled little second graders.
We had a Zoom meeting yesterday, just chatting, and they were all sharing their gamer tags and stuff, and talking about Fortnite.
Dude, you need to go stomp on your students in Fortnite.
Now,
yeah,
like, I know a lot of people give Fortnite, a lot of like a bad rep or whatever, but I don't think Fortnite is a terrible game. I guess people just want to get mad at it because it was a very popular game and people just want to hate on the popular. Or
people spend so much time playing it.
Yeah, or the people that also want to get mad because they think the game they're playing is better than that game. Like, I guess whenever Fortnite came out, people were playing like Call of Duty. They're like, no, Call of Duty is better. Like, Fortnite sucks or whatever. It's like, like it's a different game.
It was like the Battle Royale.
Yeah, they're like,
like,
oh no, this
Fortnite and the other ones that don't matter.
Fortnite and like PUBG or whatever. It's like, oh, PUBG's better. It's like, they're the same. It's like game. It's like they're the same like kind of game of like a battle royale, but they're different. Like, like each game's different. Like Fortnite, it has the building, which I think is a cool mechanic where they have the building, but
exactly.
And then the people that
takes so much skill, and if you're good at it, you can trump anyone.
Yeah, and the people that can't build, that's like a lot of people that will also hate on the game. They're like, "Oh, this game sucks because blah blah blah. Like this is so dumb." It's like, well,
so dumb.
It's like, well, if you learn how to build and like, it's just a different kind of game. But but what I was going to get at with Fortnite is that I do like with how the game is, like, yeah, they don't have blood. They don't whenever you kill somebody, they don't say kills, they just say elims.
Eliminated. And you dematerialize, right?
Yeah, so it's not like it's, I don't know the words I'm trying to find for it. Like, it's just a better way of dealing with it, if not, I guess not putting like bad ideas or something, because
it's a little bit cleaner.
Yeah,
maybe.
Cleaner. Because like if you go in, Call of Duty or something, it's like you got that many kills or whatever. It's like, kills, it feels like a strong word or whatever. But then if you go into Fortnite and they call it eliminations, I guess they don't want to say that you're like killing somebody. You just, eliminated somebody, which I guess is like out of the game. So
it's a much brighter game too, especially compared to Call of Duty. Like the animations, but also it's just so like literally brighter.
Yeah. And like
than
a lot of people say that Fortnite is a kid's game. It's like, well, it probably attracts kids of, the colors and stuff. I like those kind of games. Like they feel like a video game where it's, animated, not where they're trying to make it realistic. Like, I keep bringing Call of Duty. I mean, that's one I can definitely compare it to.
Yeah.
Is Call of Duty is very like realistic looking. I was like, it is a video game, but when I play a video game, I like to get away from like the realistic, reality type thing. I enjoy the like colors, animation. That's why I really enjoy Overwatch. Like it has a lot of, bright colors. It's animated, beautiful, like very beautiful, and like, I like those, feel like, video games.
Yeah, because there's a whole psychology to the like color palette of a game, and I really enjoy that. Like, very similar to like Sea of Thieves, right? It feels so fun and so calm and so chill, and you're like, this is amazing. But then you have like
until you rage uninstall the game.
Until you rage uninstall the game. Like it's inviting, and then you realize.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Fortnite's very fine, and a lot of ways, and in there's other games like that where they do a similar thing where you're not killing anyone, you're eliminating them,
Yeah.
or yeah,
Yeah.
and I kind of like that in this sort of, politically correct gaming culture that's kind of developing. Like you have in Valorant, they kind of talk smack about the other team, even though they are each other,
Yeah.
and they're kind of not really like killing each other.
Yeah.
Um, that's really fun. And I think a similar thing is in Apex Legends, but I'm not too sure on that. I can't confirm that or not.
Yeah.
Um, but because they are like similar characters or the same character, it's not actually them. Um, so it's not actually killing, and
Yeah.
it's a interesting way to get around it so that it's more family friendly.
All right. Well, we are really running out of time now, so I think we're going to, skip our last segment that we have.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, you can
Yeah.
go on to the
So
next thing.
yeah, that's about all the time we have. So hope you guys have been thinking about that trivia question, because now it's time for Lindsay to come and share the answer with us. So,
Oh wait.
Lindsay?
Well, we want to give our answers first, don't we? Before she reveals the
Well,
answer.
yeah, but let me repeat it just to remind everyone. So the question was, the Kingdom Hearts video game series is a collaboration between Disney and what famous gaming company? Okay. Which one of you want? Well, since Will wasn't as certain, let's let him go first. I won't tell him if he's
Oh,
yes or right, or if he's right or not yet.
okay.
Put you on the spot here, Will.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Square Enix.
Okay. What were you
Um,
thinking? Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Well, because I know with the Kingdom Hearts, they do like a collaboration with Final Fantasy, because they'll have Final Fantasy characters in there. And if I remember correctly, well, you're right. It's Square Enix that
Is it?
I'm pretty positive it's Square Enix that does the
Okay.
Final Fantasy.
Okay, well, let's
That's what I was
see.
thinking.
So the famous gaming company that collaborated with Disney on Kingdom Hearts is, in fact, Square Enix.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Kingdom Hearts is a collaboration between Disney and Square Enix. Thus, it features characters from the classic Final Fantasy series teaming up with the likes of Scrooge McDuck, Buzz Lightyear, and Jack Sparrow. So Nick took part of my more information thing
Oh,
here,
sorry.
talking about Final Fantasy. But yeah,
Yeah.
so you both have a point.
Woo!
Wonderful.
Hopefully,
Goodness.
you listeners out there were able to get that trivia question right. If you are listening on YouTube, you can put down in the comments if you got it right or not. But yeah, like we said, we're running out of time here, so we're gonna wrap up this episode. And we want to be able to, if you want to be able to like contact us or and check us out on other media platforms, Will, where can the listeners find you?
Currently I'm not huge on social media, but you can find me on our Discord, which is OOTB_gaming on Instagram. And I think our Discord may have a link somewhere.
Yeah, we'll get a link set up, I guess, with um if you're listening on YouTube, I'll put a link in the description. And then if you're listening on other like podcast apps, hopefully we'll have the link in the description there. If not, like we are trying to set up a like Patreon page, which you can go and support us there. But hopefully on there I'll be able to set up links to like our Instagram or our Discord on there, and you could be able to go and check it out. So.
Yeah. And where can they find you, Nick?
If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter, which I'm not very active on. But it's go to Twitter, type in Ace King King 77. Apparently, someone already had Ace King King. Don't really know why. That's yeah. You can also find me on YouTube, where I'll upload some videos. I haven't really done it in a while. Just go to YouTube, type in Ace King King. My Instagram is Ace King King as well. And then you can also catch me on Mixer, where I stream. And obviously where I will be streaming the podcast. But you can go to Mixer and just look up Ace King King, and you should be able to find me. It's that symbol.
Fantastic. Well, please make sure you guys leave a review on our podcast on whichever platform you found us on. And thank you so very much for listening, and please join us next week.
Alright, this has been Out of the Box Gaming with Nick Picard and Will Kinsey, and thanks for playing